name's Charlene, and I'd like to welcome you to my YouTube channel. Yes, it's my retired life as a funeral director. And yes, I am retired. I've been in the funeral business for 22 years, let's just say 20 plus years. I started in 1992, and I wanted to become an embalmer. Back then, embalming was not a profession that most women went into. So I had the opportunity to take advantage of that fact and learn from one of the best embalmers that I know. And of course, everybody has their own favorites, but mine was special to me. He taught me a lot, and I got to go to San Francisco College of Mortuary Science because of that. San Francisco College of Mortuary Science is a well-respected funeral home. Well, it was a college / and working funeral home. And the best thing about that was that all of us students got to learn how to actually function and work in a funeral home while still learning all of our requirements that we needed in order to gain our degrees. So there was a lot of kids, and I say kids because I was one of them at the time, but they came from everywhere. Washington, Texas, Florida, I remember Arizona, and they all came to San Francisco College of Mortuary Science. There was 2 colleges at the time. I believe there's the Cypress College is still in Los Angeles, so there's that team. And then the other team was pro San Francisco, because people like to live in San Francisco. Even though it was so expensive, but we got the opportunity to work for funeral homes in the area, and most of us have been able to stay at those local funeral homes. In exchange for our work and our learning, we got free room and board at those funeral homes. So it was quite interesting. It's our own little world, I want to say. But I started thinking that I just wanted to be an embalmer. And then I noticed while I was going through all the motions, I really enjoyed being a funeral director. I love being a funeral director. I loved helping families. So my intent on this channel is to assist, give advice, answer any questions that you may have. I know a lot of times, a lot of people have went into funeral homes to make arrangements for the very first time. Most people have not made funeral arrangements in their lifetime, and some have only made it once or twice. So that's what I'm here for. I'm not going to be one of those channels. You can go ahead on the other channels if you want to. I'm not going to share any gory details. I'm not going to go into the back room and show you deceased loved ones of other people's, just for the sheer fact of dignity. So I won't be showing any bodies. I won't be intruding on any funerals. This is strictly my retirement channel, and that's how I'm going to progress. And I wish to have you subscribe below to help me with my adventure, because this is like a new career for me. So it's going to be very interesting. And I would love for you to follow me and watch all of my mistakes, all of my learnings on how to become a better YouTuber, so I can help you. Now, with that being said, like I said, I graduated in 1997 from San Francisco College of Mortuary Science. So that's where I decided I wanted to own my own funeral home. And so in the hometown that I grew up in, there was a funeral home for sale, and I was lucky enough to purchase that. And I did so well. When I say well, it was my hometown, it was my community. I loved them very much, and it showed. And it showed with the family in return, how they came to me because they trusted me. So when you are a funeral director, you have a lot of time away from your family because you're serving other family members. You're serving many, many family members, and during the most difficult time. You know, grief is very, very difficult, and it comes in all shapes and forms. And sometimes it's our job to maneuver how we guide each family in their different stages. And so, you know, that's a gift. I believe that's a gift. And I believe I had that gift, and I still do, but I retired. And the reason why I retired is because I just turned 59. Woohoo, happy birthday to me. I retired because I wanted to spend time with my family. And not that I don't appreciate all the families that I did serve. It's just I spent more time away from my family, serving and helping other families, that I really didn't get to enjoy a lot of things that other people were enjoying, like taking off to dance recitals or, you know, going and watching a baseball game, because I always had to be there at the funeral home for a family in need. Or sometimes I'd be staying up late at night, and I say 2 o'clock in the morning, doing an embalming for a service that needed to be right away. So we will go into all the different types of things that we have to do as funeral homeowners and funeral directors and embalmers. This is to dedicate each video in the future. Right now, this is just an overall overwhelming process to get across to you the things that my goal are and the things that I want to express to you. And as far as gruesome details, I'm not going to do that. I can go into the stories that were behind it. I can go into different funeral homes that I know everybody's heard horror stories. I can go into facts. I won't go into fiction. I will only go into factual events that you can always look up yourself. So that won't be anything unforeseen. And I'm definitely not going to go, this channel is not going to be dedicated, I repeat, will not be dedicated to gruesome events. And I'm not going to take you on tours of a funeral. That's just not going to happen. So I'm here strictly as a funeral director giving advice. And I have a mission statement, and that mission statement that was on my general price list, which is another video. My general price list would say, creating meaningful funerals that celebrate life. And I want you to think about that for a moment. Creating meaningful funerals that celebrate life. That's what we need to focus on. Everybody just throws out celebrate life, celebration of life, celebration of life. Yeah, it's a great catchy theme. But when you're celebrating someone's life that gives peace to the family, to the loved one, to the mother, to the father, to the brother, the sister, and also some of the most difficult times is when parents lose their children, their babies, their infants, their toddlers. It's so haunting to me when I'm sitting across from them, because knowing that I'm going to go home and take care of my children, things can happen. And that sometimes those things are out of our reach or out of our, grasp. We can't control everything. And so those kinds of grief processes are the things that I dealt with on a daily basis. And that's the reason why I decided to retire, so I can focus on celebrating my life before my life ends. And a lot of times people don't understand that most people do understand, okay? Let's face it. You understand that death happens, and it's going to happen to every single one of us, whether we like it or not. It may come in a form of, and I know most people probably wish this as I do, just go to sleep, live to be a ripe old age of 90. That's my contract with the Lord, okay? My contract is live to be 90 and just let me go in my sleep. Well, wouldn't that be nice? A lot of times people pass away hooked to instruments, tubes. Sometimes people have to go through the whole process of the cancer and what it leaves behind on families. A lot of times people don't want to say goodbye. They just say, just take me in a car accident. Let it be done. I don't feel it. I don't have to deal with it. And it'll be over soon. A lot of other people that I've met, and I have met these individuals that have came into my funeral home and say, okay, I want to plan my funeral. Okay, how can I help you do that? Well, I have 6 months left or 8 months left, or maybe even a year left to live. I have cancer. I'm in stage 4, and I want to make this the best experience for my family. I don't want it to be a sad experience. I want it to be an uplifting experience. And I admire those individuals. They want that chance to be able to say goodbye before they pass away. And when they do, they want to leave that gift behind to telling them that they still love them because they made all arrangements, paid everything ahead of time. So that way their families can grieve without having to worry about monetary means and how they're going to come up with that. And that's another video. I'll explain about how pre-arrangements, how we pre-arrange our funerals, how we pre-purchase our gravesites. I might take you on a tour of a grave, a cemetery, and show you the different aspects of what you should be looking for. The questions that you should ask your cemetery advisors there at the cemetery. Get all the information that you can, so that way you're prepared, or your family's prepared, because you gave them that gift of being prepared. Am I making sense? Anyway, there's so much to the aspect of passing on, and we can take that as guilt and let it ruin our lives, or we can take it as peace and learn how to give that peace and pass that peace on to our loved ones. So that's strictly up to each individual as to how they want their life to be remembered. That people don't understand what has to be done. And a lot of times people will come to me, well, why am I paying you so much money? Well, we have to give you a general price list of all of our charges before we even start discussing funeral arrangements. That's the law, as far as the cemetery and cemetery funeral bureau. That's what we have to do. And on that general price list, every single funeral home has one. Now, every single funeral home has different charges. So that's up to you, to which funeral home you feel comfortable with, which funeral home you choose. Some people want to go to the same funeral home that their family has been going to forever and not realizing it's now owned by corporations. But that's what I'm here to do, is to let you in on those types of things, because there's not too many mom and pops left anymore. They were all bought out by Lowen and SCI, SCI Service Corporation International, and these are really large corporations, and they've done very well. But at the same time, and they can call me if they want to. They've lost so much business because they're not hiring funeral directors that are actual funeral directors. They're hiring kids and paying the kids nothing, and they have no experience, and they don't understand how, what's the word I'm looking for? How important it is. It's not really the word I'm looking for. How important it is to have that history, to have that learning experience. Thankfully, I had a learning experience because I went through all the different changes through the funeral industry. So I would like to invite you on this journey with me as my life as a retired funeral director. I decided to be kind of casual today at the office here. I'm not always going to be in the office. I may pop up by the pool. Hey, I may pop up in a gym because I'm retired. So I want to do these things and I want to enjoy it. I don't want this to be a job. I want you to feel comfortable watching me and coming to me and asking me questions with that. Because part of my job as a funeral director too, and I never realized it until I owned my own funeral, boy, do you become a counselor. I mean, you really do. You become a counselor and you don't even realize it. And they look to you for answers that you don't even have. Well, through years of experience, I've gained the knowledge of that. And it's it's just very endearing. I have made so many friends through serving families. I have a lot of friends that still contact me, like on my birthday yesterday, they contacted me, and I buried their son, and they were so grateful to the service that I provided. They were so grateful for everything that I did for them that we built this bond, and that is the connection. Being a funeral director should build bonds with families. Now, a lot of us older funeral directors, and there's funeral directors out there older than me that are still out there, they can tell you most of their friends that they have now are through families that they have served. That's how special our job is. It really is that special. And I'm honored and I'm proud, and I'll say it every day. There's nothing I would have changed in my life as far as a career at all. And people say, isn't that hard? How do you see deceased people? How do you see dead people? Are you kidding me? Those people are people. They have lives. And I learned through their lives by meeting with their families. I learned about their lives. I learned what kind of person they were. I learned all the gifts that they had as a person, all the endeavors and adventures that they had through serving their families. And by creating a meaningful funeral that celebrates their life through what the family has given me. And I cherish that. And I think that's what makes me special. I really do. I'm going to own it. Yep, I'm going to own it. So, I would just really like to have you on this journey with me. I would really like to have you support me, subscribe. Here's my goal, and I want to start off small goal, and hopefully I'll get a hang of all this editing and all this stuff. And everybody in the YouTube community tells me, just do it. Just put your first video out there. Questions, and I will also put a link down at the bottom how you can send me your questions. And again, this is going to take me time, but I really do appreciate you. I appreciate the fact that you're watching me right now, and I wish to see most of you again. And please subscribe so I can get out there to a lot more individuals. And I know that this is going to be a long beginning, but I'm here. I'm retired. Come on. That's what I do. I'm retired. And I've been pretty bored, honestly. But bored in a way that I don't have to be up 24/7. 7 days a week, 365 days a year. If I could add extra days to the year, I probably have already done that. And I will do a video on, like I said, the general price list. I might start with that so you guys can understand why and how we get paid. Because a lot of times the big question is why are funerals so expensive? They're not really. Once you see the breakdown of what we have to pay out in order to provide that service, it's really, you'll understand a lot more when I break it down for you. And here's another thing. A lot of families want the stars in the world and the skies and everything. And they'll pay for it. That's what they want. That's how their grief works. That's what their families have always done. Religion comes into play sometimes. That's how they want it done. It's a 3-4 day service. I mean, it's up to them. It's always up to the family how much they want to spend. It's not up to us. We're here to direct you in the way that you wish to be directed. If you want a bon voyage service, then that's what we're going to do. You know, we did a haunted house funeral service. Hey, who am I? I'm there to create a meaningful funeral that celebrates life. That's what I'm there for. So I hope that you will join me on my journey through YouTube and my journey through editing and my journey through funeral directing and embalming. And you know, as I get going, I would like to at some point, so you can give me your concerns or your advice or your needs or wants, maybe, as to, like, at the end of every month, if anybody sends me in, like, a picture and the name, date of birth, date of passing, like, do a montage of kind of like an obituary segment where I post pictures of the individuals that you would like to have remembered. And maybe I can just do an extra video a month for like an obituary memory montage, I guess is what you would call it. That'd be kind of interesting, don't you think? Yeah, see, I have so much going on in this little noggin of mine. And I guess that's what happens when you have too much time on your hands when you're retired. My kids now are older and I'm enjoying life. And I like to travel. And by the way, if I do travel, I'll take you with me. Because usually when I do travel, I don't visit other funeral homes. I love to visit cemeteries. Because cemeteries hold history. Yes, they do. And a lot of times, most cemeteries have a historical somebody that's buried there. And it's always so interesting. When I went back to Arkansas, oh my goodness, went back to Arkansas and I ended up at the cemetery because my aunt took me there because that's who I was visiting, Aunt Mary. And she took me to the cemetery. She goes, do you know who Buford Pusser is? And I said, oh my gosh, that guy? Oh, you know, I'm from California. So, you know, all that stuff is just out of my world and out of my knowledge. And she had the whole story, had to tell me the whole story. I think it was walking tall, carry a big stick. You know, that man was not liked. Well, to each his own. I mean, who am I to say? All I know is, my point being is, there's always somebody, whether it's good person, bad person, weird person, phenomenal person that is in some cemetery. And that's the fun part for me, is just to go and hear all the different, stories about different cemeteries. And, of course, everybody went to Tennessee, goes and visits Elvis's grave, and everybody says if he's really there and he's not really there. Who knows? I don't know. But I did go to Fanger, Tennessee. And that's where a lot of my relatives, my ancestors and stuff like that are buried. It's called Fanger, Tennessee. And believe it or not, and all the graves, almost all the headstones, guess what it was? It was a finger pointing up in the sky on the headstone. Can you believe it? I was like, is this why we call it Fanger, Tennessee? I don't know if that's really what it was or not, but it was very humorous to me. Do you see what I'm saying about cemeteries? So if I do go on a vacation, I will probably take my little phone with me. I'll get myself one of those little what do you call them, those selfie sticks, just to show you how I'm learning, and walk around those cemeteries. So it's kind of interesting. It really is. It really is. And different burial customs. Yeah, those are interesting too. So it's not just about funerals. It's about experiences, and yes, they're sad. They are. But if we create a meaningful funeral that celebrates that person's life, guess what that gives us? It gives us peace. It gives the family peace. Now, you're not going to please everybody. Trust me. There's always that person that just, no matter what you do, and trust me, I've had many of them, no matter what I've done, no matter how I went out of my way, no matter how much even I'd given, didn't please them. They find one mistake, one tiny, and guess what it usually is? You misspelled someone's name in the obituary, or you misspelled somebody's name in the memorial folder, or you got the death certificate wrong. That one mistake ruins everything else. Everything else is gone, done. So we have to work twice as hard, 3 times as hard, 4 times as hard than most people do in customer service. So if you want to know what customer service is, work in a funeral home and you'll find out real quick. Trust me. So, well, everybody, I hope that, let's see, I really don't know what else much more to say except for please subscribe and tune in. Okay, until next time, we'll see ya. Bye for now.